Huda Beauty released her third complexion product for the brand, and it's on the heels of the Easy Bake Loose Setting Powder. It's called the Overachiever Concealer. Now, this concealer is marketed as a natural finish, full coverage concealer. However, it's highly pigmented. It has over 31% of pure pigment, so it's supposed to really help cover. The Overachiever launched on October 1st. It retails for $30, and it also is available in 20 shades. So looking at the skin tone category, that equals to 4 shades per category. So fair, light, medium, and deep. There's also a blending dual-sided brush for you to apply the concealer, blend it out under your eyes or on your face. And then if you prefer a sponge, there also is a sponge that's marketed with it. I recommend to always kind of look within your own stash, see what you already have. You may just want to use your own beauty tool, your own beauty brush, and so forth. But at least the tools are there in case you want to buy it as, say, a kit. The packaging for the concealer is in a typical squeezy tube. However, the applicator itself, how you would apply it, let's say, for example, under your eyes, it's supposed to be very soothing, very calming, like it's supposed to kind of almost roll and glide. So if you do have, let's say, some drainage you need to let go of, some under eye baggage or puffiness, that's supposed to kind of help with the application process. I fell into 3 of the shades available: peanut butter, salted caramel, and honeycomb. First up is the shade peanut butter. Peanut butter is described as a tan shade with golden as well as peach undertones. Salted caramel is next, also a tan shade, but it has golden as well as olive undertones. However, salted caramel is slightly warmer for my skin tone. How I can see that is underneath my eye area, it's turning slightly orange. So that will indicate that it's a little bit more warmer than my skin needs. I swatched Butterscotch and Honeycomb, and Butterscotch was actually deeper on me than Honeycomb. So I chose Honeycomb, which is right below Butterscotch. Now, Honeycomb is still that tan, rich skin tones, but it has a lot more red in it. And how I can see that is I can literally see a lot more red appearance under my eyes versus the other 2 shades. The shade that matches the best to my skin tone is peanut butter. And in the Faux Filter Foundation, my shade is the chocolate mousse, if that helps you for a reference. Just like the other 2 complexion products, this concealer has that Huda, I'm going to call it that recognizable, oh, this is a Huda product by the actual smell. So if that's a turnoff for you, it's there. The smell does not linger under my eyes. I don't smell it all day. It's only during the application process do I smell it. Same was with the loose powder. I don't smell it throughout the day. It was really only the foundation where I could smell it all day long. Concealer texture is quite creamy. With that in mind, in reference to the actual applicator, I feel that that's going to apply a lot more product than necessary. With this concealer, a little bit goes an awful long way. It also has a texture that I feel dries quite quick. So I recommend working in sections to do one eye at a time before you move on to the next, or spot conceal on your face. Just pretty much take your time because it will start to dry fairly quick. The coverage for the concealer matches up against the claim. I feel that the pigment level is there. I can see it start to cover inner darkness underneath my eyes like that. Same when I'm trying to spot conceal. I can still spot conceal with peanut butter, and I'll dab a little bit into the foundation left over that I have, and it starts to build up and it starts to cover what I'm trying to cover. So I definitely feel the claims of it being full coverage is there. This concealer produces a skin-like appearance, what I have been stating as like glass. Like my under eye area looks like glass when I put this concealer on. I was just pleasantly surprised the first time. However, the tool that I use is very important. With Salted Caramel and Honeycomb, I'm noticing that as it's drying under my eyes, it's looking quite patchy with that particular sponge. I prefer just to use a synthetic brush or one that's like badger hair or squirrel hair and blend it out underneath my eyes that way. Also wanted to test out the concealer in a baking method because I know a lot of people still bake. So I used Huda's Easy Bake Loose Powder. It's just something I have been still enjoying my sample of, and it's fine. There is no cakiness, there is no dryness under my eyes. It is just smooth. It's smooth, like glass. You'll keep hearing me say like glass. This concealer throughout the day has worn fine for me. I don't see any type of, again, going into any fine lines. I don't see any patchiness. I don't see anything wearing off. How it looks in the morning as far as how I'm applying it, come home at the end of the day or checking in, it still looks the same under my eyes. Of course, that is going to be different with everybody in different conditions. I have two last points to mention about this concealer. First is, as I'm applying and blending the concealer out under my eyes, not only is that smell there, again, it's not as strong, but what I'm noticing with my eyes is I'm feeling as if there's like there's something in the air, like a vapor or something, because sometimes I would be like, my eyes feel a bit irritated. I know it's because of that smell of the actual concealer. But then once everything's blended out, I start to put on my other products, the vapor like kind of just flies by. But that is something that I've noticed each and every time I've applied the concealer. Then the actual ingredients of the concealer. Now I wanted to again find out where or what is that ingredient that is causing the smell. I couldn't recall what it was from the foundation. So I Googled the ingredients and I noticed it wasn't pulling up on Sephora's website or on the brand's website. All the ingredients for this Overachiever concealer pulls up on, I believe the website's called Cult Beauty in the UK. And each shade, so depending on which shade you are in the concealer, has a different ingredient list. As I am comparing the ingredients of the concealer peanut butter shade against the foundation ingredients, I am noticing that they do share quite a few ingredients in common. However, the concealer has a lot more of the, I would say, the skin care benefits within it, where it's stating, oh, it's soothing, here's this particular plant, here's this particular oil in it. Those are off because that is not necessarily in the foundation, but the concealer has more of those skincare benefits to it. So keeping that in mind, that you have the foundation and the concealer kind of sharing a lot of the same ingredients, here's a recommendation or a tip I have for you. Let's say you perhaps do not fall within a shade range within the foundation. Perhaps the concealer would work best for you. Perhaps you would fall in a shade within that lineup, because the concealer itself still produces a natural finish, more of a skin-like finish on the skin. I feel personally a lot more skin-like finish and natural than the actual foundation. So there's a route you might be able to take. Also, the scent of the concealer does not linger all day long like the foundation does. I mean, that foundation lingers all day long. I can smell it. So there's a second route for you too. Just a couple of tips. If, again, the foundation does not work for you, take a look at the concealer and maybe that will work for you. But let me know if this is a product you plan on picking up and what do you feel? Especially if you've already tried it. I want to know your experience. Leave them down as comments and let me know. Thank you very much for stopping by and watching, everyone. Have a wonderful day or evening. And as always, I'm going to see you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.